Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the second annual celebration of the Regeneissance, this decade-long global movement that's bringing together revolutionary creators, systems thinkers, and organizations to imagine, collaborate, and co-create for a world that works for 100% of life.
Today, we're coming together to celebrate resilience and coming together. After 2 years of a hard 2 years of a global pandemic, climate unraveling, extreme weather conditions, and a global unrest, which we're still in today, we're working to rebuild our infrastructure and to move from industrial agriculture and industrialized systems to regenerative systems, and building and shifting our food systems to be more food secure. And we're also starting to listen deeply to what our Gaian systems are telling us. We've begun to build a path towards emergency response, but to do this, we need to build our resilience. And we cannot do this alone. We must come together to collaborate and be together.
Today, we will hear from artists and creators and partners who are doing just that. They're forging a path towards resilience through reconnection to our Indigenous ancestors, deepening roots into the ground, empowering and emboldening our thought leaders around the world, and courageously bringing forward their visions of a world that works for all.
Today, we're blessed to be here with Snow Raven, who comes to us from one of the coldest places on Earth, near the North Pole, called Yucita. I think I said that right. Snow Raven, you could correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Yakutia. From a town of 600 people, she originates from the Sekia people of the Arctic Siberia, where she learned to listen and mimic the sounds of nature. From a young age, she was attuned to nature, listening to her ancestors. Snow Raven received blessings from the spirits to channel this ancient wisdom through her singing, dancing, drumming, and movement. And we're grateful to have you here with us, Snow Raven. We heard from you earlier, the kickoff of Regenera, and it's just such a pleasure to be here in person with you, or virtual person. I feel like I could touch you.
Thank you also for being one of our visionaries in the Design Science Studio, and for coming to bring your wisdom and your culture and your music for so many to reconnect to the earth as the earth.
Thank you, Roxy. Thank you, Faith, for inviting me again. I'm so honored, and every time when I connect to your community in person, or on Zoom, it's all about connection, which is we all have the unseen connection web, the web of life. It's the energy behind that, and it's an honor for me to be here in the United States and represent my culture, and also share wisdom and knowledge of Saka people, very survival, and we humbly believe that everything is alive, and nature is really powerful, and we are part of that nature. So that's why we do a lot of mimicking birds and animal sounds, and that's the way to connect to our inner world, and also to the nature, our outer world. And its outer and inner world, they are the same. That's how we see it. And today I would love to open with the traditional song, Toyuk. And after that, I would like to introduce how to sing Toyuk very shortly. So Toyuk is a traditional song which is used for the ceremonies to honor deities and the spirits of the middle world. But the tradition came from each person. So it's a self-expression. Toyuk is the way you feel connected to that inner and outer world. So Toyuk is also can identify where you come from in my culture. I came from Uz-Aldan County, which is more northern and eastern part of my homeland, Yakutia, and we have hills. And people, they were living in the forest. And having a neighbor and visiting your neighbor might take a couple days to go to, and that therefore they were riding horse or bull, and during that long journey, what they would do, they sing, synchronized with the rhythm of the animal, and they sing, and it's very groovy, and they assign it with the singing technique kalihach. It's very meditative beatboxing, and there are canonized opening words, jehe boho, but the rest of that, it's the improvisation. It comes from people's heart. All the poetry woven into the melody of the specific area. And as I mentioned before, we have hills, so the melody of my my area's Toyuk, it descends from the up, down, it goes up and down. Na, 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 so this is the melody, and I would like to share it right now with you, the way I sing Toyuk, and I will sing it in Saka language, my native language. So this is a little traditional Toyuk singing for you, and this is how we express ourselves. I described how the world, the nature is powerful and beautiful, and I tend to see the positivity in the world. So it's very much dependent on your mood, your emotions, from moon, from sun, all of these planets. So, and then you can even sing it in English language. So you can sing it in your native tongue. But today, as an opening ceremony and bring it you as a collective, I would like to introduce the beginning of that Toyuk song so we can all chant together. And here, if you see the screen, I'm sharing it with you right now. Can you see it? Okay.
Yes.
So those are the lyrics. I'm doing also online classes, and I've been teaching people with how to sing Toyuk. And so those are the lyrics, Jehe Boho, what you heard from the beginning, right? So those are very specific combination of the sounds, the vowels and the consonants. So h sound, h consonant is very important for our body. We have a lot of h sounds in our language, and that activates the solar plexus area. So right now, drop into that sound and make it short and multiple times, like h, 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 exhaling it, h, 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 and feel where does it resonate in your body. That's where we assign the rhythm of the Toyuk. Je, he, bo, ho, je, he, bo, ho, before each syllable, and bo, ho, 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 right? And the h consonants turns into very special singing technique, which is called kalhach. It's like a yodel, but it's a yodeling from your belly. So, and we are going to chant that song. But before, I would like you to repeat after me. Try to pronounce these consonants and vowels. So first one, the first part here, it's a jehe boho, and make sure that you drop into all of these muscles which are activating, right? This is new language for you, and it might activate your hidden spots. Jehe boho, try it. Jehe boho, jehe boho ho ho. It's very simple. Jehe boho, jehe boho ho ho. And the melody of the first part is Je bo. That's it. This is the first part. So we go from Je bo. You can even unmute yourself. I would love to hear the sound of group, the collective here, the sound of everybody. So let's try it all together. Take a deep breath, inhale, support your diaphragm, and then And the second part, it has 3 inhales. So the second part, exactly the same lyrics, but the melody a little bit changes. So it goes up, and then inhale again. And in the end, you prolong. There's a tail, so you prolong the O sound. All right, so let's try the second part. Inhale. J. Inhale. Once more. Breath in. Bo. both parts. All right? Ready? Take a deep breath in. Once more, take a deep breath in. Beautiful. And then the last time, I would like to ask you to put your right hand to your heart and the left hand to your liver. And close your eyes and let's expand. Let's be ready for today, for a beautiful day. And let's imagine our day, the best scenario, the best imagination. Imagination is really powerful. That's how in shamanism you also can travel through the dimensions, through the imagination. So let's may it be. Let's let it flow through your body, and let's sing it once more. All right, so you all together. Close your eyes, hold your hands in your heart and liver. Take a deep breath in. Mahtal, thank you so much. Wishing you spring blossoms and a lot of shining light of the sun and a lot of joy, and also a lot of strength, a lot of inner light coming from you. So may all us be awakened and enjoy the being part of the whole web of life. So thank you so much again inviting me to Regenera. Thank you.
Oh, that was so beautiful, Snow Raven. It's so powerful to sing. It's early-ish in our morning. It's such an enlivening tool for our spirits to sing. I really enjoyed that practice. I'm sure everybody else here really enjoyed it, but deeply enjoyed it. And thank you so much for being such an incredible visionary shaman and beautiful human being for us, and such a light. So yeah, we really appreciate you.
Thank you, Roxy. Thank you, Faith.
Raven, I know that you have connected with many in this community, but because this is our biggest annual summit of the year, I'm curious if there's anything that you want to share about the Temple of Shamanism and Science, or Kutsur, and how people could be of support. all that you're doing.
Thank you so much for bringing it up to your community. Yes, I have a beautiful team. My soul brother and sister, Kat and Eddie. We a year ago were brainstorming and bringing. We had a visions and about creating Kutsur Temple of Shamanism and Science. And this year, we seed it in the soil. So this year we are doing all the paperwork and filing it. So it takes a lot of time and energy. I think that is going to be my lifetime project too, where we would love to host shamans around the world and bring reciprocity. And also, instead of being separated, being in a friendship and collaboration between cultures, between indigenous and specifically Western culture, shamanism and science, right? So bridging it, and during the process of becoming together, me as indigenous and Kat and Eddie, they're as a Westerners, they brought the concept of awaken, heal and evolve, which were very much aligned to Kutsur, Saka shamanic concept. And so in that collaboration, in our small team, going through a lot of challenges, a lot of process of preparing, we found the way that we all can collaborate. And this is all about, we're all talking about the same thing, about the same energy, the same concepts, the same visions, and we're all indigenous to Mother Earth. We all have an ancient ancestry. We're like a trees, we have very deep roots. And sometimes some generations, they do mistakes, or I would not say I would not see it as a mistake. I would see it as a necessary events that will remind us about light, about preciousness of life. There is no light without darkness. There is no sun without moon. So it's a whole part of the cycle of life. And in our temple, we would like to unite all the people around Earth, reminding them that we came out of Earth, we're of Earth, and this is our temple, and we are all indigenous to her. So this is a beautiful concept, and thank you so much for bringing it, Roxy. So, and you can find information when we are online, because we are preparing also digital twin of our temple. Our team is shaping, and people coming and then they're contributing their knowledge, their expertise. It's a lot of tech work, and I know that we're shifting into we're living in a very interesting time. So we are entering to very deep realm. I would say it's we're all talk about Web3 or metaverse, right? And so we have no idea what is that, but we're like entering and we're touching it, we're experimenting, and my true intention is bringing new paradigm, new vision, which can serve Mother Earth and humanity, rather than bringing old paradigm, to very beautiful opening, very good opportunity for all of us to build new society. So I'm inviting everybody to build our life together.
Thank you. Yes, we need to build new tools that make the old tools obsolete, because some of these old tools are no longer serving us, as Buckminster Fuller said. Snow Raven, I'm curious if you're free for a little bit. There's some questions from participants. Are you free to potentially go into a breakout room and answer some questions? I feel like there's a lot of, actually, I just see one raised hand right now, but maybe more. Would love to join you.
What I should do? Breakout room and go to which?
Yeah, I'll put you in a breakout room.
Can I just say before you break it apart, Snow Raven, thank you so much for bringing this to us. And I want to bring all of your attention to something, and I want you to think about something for a minute, because she shared something about where.
I don't know where she went. Well, we'll open a breakout room, love. And if you can, just spend a few extra minutes with us. It would be delightful to have some people connect. I know you have also some students to attend to today. So thanks for
Is it
sharing.
overflow conversation or?
Yeah, we would just put it in there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Snow Raven.
Beautiful. Thank you again, Snow Raven.
Thank you for sharing about Cooksword Temple of Shamanism and Science. Well, we're excited to keep letting the world know about it and be allies of support of getting and strengthening this indigenous wisdom, making its way into the world.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And next up, we actually have Lucian Tarnowski to introduce Tatiana. Thank you, Lucian. I feel like you know her so well. You know her so well.
Such a pleasure, Faith. Yeah, what an honor to introduce a female leader that inspires me literally every day, and Tatiana Kazakova, who I am deeply honored to call the love of my lives as well, my beloved, who's in the room directly upstairs here in Ibiza. And yeah, just great to be here. We're both big supporters of Regenera, and yeah, how to introduce Tatiana. She is the co-founder and chief strategy officer of Leaders on Purpose, which she will share more about. But put it this way, Leaders on Purpose is holding an amazing position of leverage, supporting some of the biggest companies in the world make the transition from profit first to purpose first, and shifting their focus, their strategy, and having an enormous impact on society, planet, and the organizations themselves. And so Tatiana is ultimately a planetary strategist. She speaks at events around the world. She guides companies on how to navigate these transition times. And she inspires so many people, myself certainly included, in these transition times. And Leaders on Purpose is a leading platform and a proud partner of the Design Science Studio. And
take it away, Tatiana.
Okay. There seems to be a system to cut people off, but well, I mean, wow, I'm so blessed to be here. Thank you, my beloved, for this beautiful introduction. I'm sure he will be listening to this now from somewhere in our multidimensional space here. But I'm absolutely grateful to be here today with all of you, for the Design Science Studio team, all your creators, and all that you are doing and what we are doing. And I think before I dive a little bit deeper into Leaders on Purpose, why am I here today? Why do I believe Leaders on Purpose is part of creation? And I think all of us at some stage in our evolution that we understand that when we are aligned with our purpose and we create from our heart, no matter which language we are using, we are creating art, and the art of the non-incremental future for our planet if we source that art from our heart. So in my context, it's having the ability to speak strategy and to invite global leaders into a safe space to really overcome challenges, to unleash the potential of them as a leader, but also the whole infrastructure of the organization, and so that we can co-create a tapestry of something that is beyond non-incremental change, of which we know it's very urgently needed. This brings me to the point, why did we found Leaders on Purpose with my amazing co-founder, Krista, with who I'm also very blessed to have such a Kismet co-founder as well, found on this journey. We believe, and as you know, multinational corporations, they touch billions of lives every single day. So we need to incorporate them. We need to use to leverage them and to invite them into the transition into a significantly better future. Understand the processes, the infrastructures, how we can leverage at scale and accelerate purpose-driven action towards something that we call the purpose economy, or in our context, probably more Gaionomy. How would Earth design a planetary economy that is truly in service to all life, to the planet, and to the organizations that then operate in this ecosystem? And sometimes I like to take the metaphor of those infrastructures. How does it look like if they coincide with the design of our fabric of life, if we come as close as possible to this? And this is, of course, something that is very, very close with the Design Science Studio and what we see as creation down the line. We have been very fortunate over the years that we were able and are able to galvanize some of the biggest multinational corporations, leaders, and inspire also nowadays policymakers around the world to start implementing change that we really believe has not only the potential of huge impact, but is significantly needed at scale, at acceleration, with the right people, the right partners on the ground, and to support our global transition, and a significantly better future for us all. We are bringing those leaders together in our annual Leaders on Purpose CEO Summit. Every year, we're coming out this year into our 5th year. The Design Science Studio team joined us at one of our summits, where we had creators participating in these panel discussions with those CEOs to capture the imagery, the commitments, the conversations in something that is beyond words, so that it can be grasped and support also those leaders and organizations and employees and everyone that they touch to be hugely inspired, but particularly also driven through this inspiration to take action and to do the decisions that we need, because it's all of us. And so we're incredibly looking forward to be working on other events together and to bring more creators into this work, artists, and to capture the art out of what we are building. We launched also officially the Leaders on Purpose CEO community last year. We are having a research arm that goes deep into the practices of purpose-driven business, to understand what does it mean actually to be a multinational purpose-driven organization beyond all the noise that is out there. As you know, a multinational corporation cannot just change overnight, and they cannot become a for-benefit organization overnight, or anything that younger organizations have way more ability and agility to do so. However, we need to understand in all this noise, who are the ones with those people and those infrastructures that are really doing the work of transformation, and how can we support them to scale and to accelerate this work, and to focus on this, because as we know, the train has left the station, and the vision train has also left the station, right? So we are all on this train, and so basically we invite those organizations and the leaders and the stakeholders to jump on this train with us, and to co-create the pathway that we're all building and aspiring to achieve. What does that mean in some concrete cases? We are part of building a purpose-first economy on the continent on Africa with the Kenyan, Rwandan, Ugandan, and DCR governments already, to really support them to have their own business forums of ethical business, to leverage their own communities, their own people up into their own economy, and through that participate in the global economy, and also in a totally new understanding, what does globalization even mean for us? what does a planetary, right, gaionomy really look like, and come together and have a very diverse conversation also with communities on the ground, communities that work on the tech place and in different other systems. Other implications of our work is space on purpose or Web3 on purpose, where we work with some of the industry leaders to understand how do we ensure, at least, or are aware of the industries that are being right now created as part of the transition, or that will be fundamental pillars of our future, of which we already know that we to make sure that the value alignment of how we bring value together, how we bring people together, how we bring communities together and unleash the half potential of corporations and eventually transition them to Dalmatians. That's another concept that we have in our mind. So what is actually how does the future of a corporation look like in a Regeneissance, in a gaionomy? We believe these are Dalmatians, meaning people and communities coming together around their dharma, and through that being in service and value of planet, society, and what they're doing. Yeah, this is what is happening on our end. We are growing massively fast and accelerating. We're working a lot on this, and I think all of you know probably very well how this feels like, because it doesn't stop. The world needs our help now. I'm deeply, deeply inspired by on this journey by art, by creative wisdom, by wisdom that is coming through art, that is coming through sound, and also what Snow Raven shared with us, listening into the stillness of ourselves, listening into the stillness of our collective, and allowing our planet and Mother Earth to share what she believes, or at least what I interpret for now, right? Yeah, what the steps would be to take. My personal background is I studied mathematics and I have a PhD in strategy. In mathematics, you spend 3 months with numbers, but then 4.5 years in the multidimensional space with infinity. So here, when you come back then to economic models, then you see how simplified these are, as we know, and they don't really capture the planetary system and our Earth at all. And it's a mathematician. It's a huge surprise. Of course, it's like, how is this even possible that this happened along the journey? But what we believe is we need to be hopeful. We need to be radically optimistic, as also my beloved Lucian says, and he will share more about how he creates around the United Planet, around these hopes for the future narratives that we really need to unite us for a significantly better future for all. And Leaders on Purpose really plays the role in transmuting those infrastructures towards that transition. Yeah, I could share
Tatiana, there's
way more, but I think I opened the space for questions maybe.
There's a beautiful question in the chat of how do you inspire global leaders?
Yeah, I think it's twofold. First and foremost, it's really about they are inspired by also other leaders that are doing that work, and to find them in the safe space and to see that they actually share the same challenges. At the end of the day, we are all human beings. Those leaders in these positions are as well, especially also new CEOs or new people that come into these positions. They don't come with the intention, of course, to, right? We also sometimes talk about corporate karma in a way, or trauma, right? They don't necessarily come into a corporation understanding all the consequences, but really truly want to do something different. However, every step is monitored and has a response in the market. So first, they're inspired by their own community to see they're not alone, as we know how it feels like, right? We grow up and think, wow, we must be crazy. We're all alone, and then we find our tribe. So they found their tribe with Leaders on Purpose. They feel a connection as well. A lot have shared to us, this is different. There's so much energy. People stay over the whole day. Usually those leaders stay maybe for 1 hour or so, but they really touch in the human self. They feel that they're empowered to share also vulnerability. And also we introduce them, of course, to communities and to an ecosystem of partners that do really care and have incredible solutions and have incredible visions and execution opportunities upon that. Because as we know, we have answers, some of them, we have capital. Sometimes it just unfortunately doesn't come at the time needed and in the way needed into these kind of processes where we have the biggest leverage point of decision making, the capital deployment, and inspiring organizations and employees to actually act upon that. Yeah, does this answer? Yeah, I mean, it's really time beyond action. Yeah, as we know.
Yeah.
Any other question?
I just want to say it's really beautiful how you provide a heart-based space and foundation for corporate leaders, because it's really through felt experience that they can shift, and until they actually feel what's needed,
yeah,
it's hard to get people to shift. So I just
absolutely
thank you.
Thank you so much. And also most of them, those that have children, sometimes it's really the children coming to their parents and being like, you're in such a position of how is this even possible that, you know, so it's when they sometimes, so every time before we bring them together into the summit, we bring them together into a dinner. And this is where we have a Jeffersonian style experience, exactly to face what you just shared, to really come to the point to understand what brings you here as a person and as a human. And yeah, it's fascinating. The stories, we all know them, we all share them. We are one in that, as we know. So yeah. Oh, is Leonie joining us here as well?
She's joining us as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Leonie.
Oh.
I just want to say thank you again, Tatiana, for your work. So the Design Science Studio was brought in to support with, I think, was that the first Leaders on Purpose experience? Oh, okay. Just the one last year.
Yes, but it was amazing. Yeah, yeah. The art, you can find it on our website when you go. I think it was the 2020 CEO Summit, and we're exploring definitely for this year and the years to come. There's so much there's so much acceleration happening around us, which is beautiful. And so we're absolutely excited, about what we will all create together and unleash together.
I love that. Yeah. So thank you again. Roxy, you may want to say something as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you, Tatiana, from day one, how much you have seen and understood what we're here to do together in the Design Science Studio, what we stand for, and that you brought us to the world center stage to share that and amplify that message, and how much that really supported us from coming out the gate to say, at a systems level, this is critically important, and we are going to amplify these creators who are coming together around a shared mission and amplifying this mission through communities of practice and these like radical aims to create an equitable and just future for all life, and helping to build that bridge between the people who are making the systemic changes on the top level and welcoming us into that conversation. So I just want to thank you for bringing us into that conversation and being such an ally and support for this work. And together we can.
Thank you so much. It was and it is an absolute pleasure. And I don't only believe, I know. So it's we all are part of a very big, beautiful puzzle piece. And so we just need to find the right ways to support us. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for today and the great work that you're doing. Incredible conference. Wow, what a huge undertaking. You're like, yeah.
Thank you.
Planetary Power Rangers.
Planetary Power. I'll take it.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Thank you so much, Tatiana.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, wow. What a powerhouse morning we're starting to have. It's just so exciting to see all of the inspiring work that everyone is doing. And, this is all about, today is all about coming together and resiliency. And I would love to introduce Sylvia, if we can bring Sylvia spotlighted on. Sylvia, you see? Sylvia is one of the most amazing, resilient artists I have had the pleasure to know. I had the pleasure of working with Sylvia for the first time in 2016. Sylvia is an incredible artist and with such a passion for creating interactive art. And one of the special things about it is all of the interactive art that they create is about healing. In 2016, we got to work together on, 2018, we got to work together on a piece that I led called Luna Flora, and they're an amazing seamstress, builder of temples for Burning Man. And Sylvia has such an innate ability to create art in a broad range of mediums. She works independently and is a beautiful collaborator with different groups as a lead designer, builder, seamstress, welder, bringing whimsical, sizable, interactive art to life. And as you can see from their incredible backdrop back there, they are here to talk about their next project. And I'm so excited to have you here, Sylvia.
Thank you, Lena. It's so good to be here. I love how InterNurture fits so well into the talk of the conference with resilience and coming together, and also regeneration. InterNurture is an innovative sculpture that also has healing technology within it. And I asked myself as an artist, how can I make the biggest impact? And I thought, well, really, it's truly one person at a time, and creating a space where a person could recommune within and create self-compassion, radical self-compassion, radical self-nurturance, because it builds up compassion for yourself. And when you build up compassion for yourself, you have a greater ability to have compassion for others. So when we think about these CEOs who are striving and driving for something that may be a singular focus, if we can get them to come and commune within and find that love within themselves, then they will see it and facilitate it outside of themselves. So I present to you, let me share my screen. InterNurture. Like I said, she's innovative. She has healing technology inside of the heart chamber. And when I had the vision of InterNurture, I wasn't quite ready to bring her to life yet. There were things I needed to learn. So I went on a journey of building the Temple of Burning Man in 2019, and then designing the Temple for Burning Man 2020, 2021, 2022. That's a long story, but she's being built. So I'm very grateful. And building those temples taught me a lot about how to lead a team with compassion and empowerment. And that is the theme of InterNurture's compassion and self-empowerment. Our engineering is done by the man-based engineer. Her name is Jules Sparks. We have a huge balance of men and women on this team. Many women have leadership roles. InterNurture is 16 feet tall. Her wings are set in front of her to create a communion courtyard. The wingspan from the back of her head to the tip of her wings is 40 feet, and then she's 42 feet wide. We do break her down into parts to travel. That saves us on transportation fees. This will fit on one trailer. So as we are thinking about design, we're also thinking about sustainability and saving our resources. And the heart chamber itself is within this diamond-shaped body. And it's based on a hexagon. And the six-sided hexagon is the embodiment of the heart energy. And we just want this to radiate heart, love, energy as a portal as much as we can. So this design came through, and I was so excited that it was simple yet incredibly powerful, the hexagon. You'll even see the hexagon in the new telescope they just launched, James Webb. And literally we are being reflected back through this hexagon shape. It just thrills me to no end to know that's happening. We do have the model in virtual reality, and this is where our engineers, architects, and some fabricators who have a headset meet, and we walk around inside the Eagle and we talk about how this is going to connect here, or is this going to work? Is the wind going to pick this up? And the eagle represents bridging the spiritual and the physical world. And it's bringing you in communion with something greater than yourself. It's taking a higher perspective to have a keen visual acuity of what the situation is and how you can relate to it and how you can most show up for it. It represents transformation, manifestation, power, and inner strength. And what more do we need on an individual basis than this? I think it's so important to create a secure place within yourself. The media, how do you know what's true? If you weren't there, can you really trust what's being presented to you? If you have a practice of constantly checking within, you do have a strong connection to that inner guidance. And that is what is directing us toward our higher good, our higher collective. And InterNurture brings that space to introduce people to that concept. We are trying to use as much recycled materials as possible around the eyes and the beak of the reclaimed scrap metal. There's wood paneling. This guy was just getting rid of. It happens to perfectly fit on the bottom and the top of the head. The four-way stretch projection fabric is what the wings are made of. So it beautifully has a theater lighting effect on the wings. And as she softly changes colors, it just invites people into the heart chamber for the actual interactive experience. So here's some screenshots of how she changes colors, and you can see it here on my video. Our intention is to go through the full spectrum of colors, because color is also healing and it's part of the interactive elements of InterNurture. Just trying to move through a slide here. There we go. So one heart at a time. Something that I'm really focusing on is intentional attention. And if we give intentional attention to ourselves, it creates a powerful self-nurturance energy that is a place of self-trust, of self-compassion, and of peace within. And I think this is the most powerful remedy that our community and our world needs to soothe our collective and individual trauma. So InterNurture is a space that initiates this self-love. And inside of the heart chamber itself, we have healing technology. When I had a vision of InterNurture in 2018, I didn't know this technology existed. I went to a couple of psychedelic conferences and I saw it. And I'm like, that's exactly what I thought about. It's here. And then I met a couple of young men who have somatics. Cymatic is the study of vibration and how it resonates and has patterns. And then somatics is the study of the body as it relates to something. And so inside the heart chamber, participants are fitted with eye goggles. Let's see if I can find them here. This explains a little bit about what I just said. The glasses synchronize your brain hemispheres to bring you to a state of theta wave where you are receptive to the healing that we're going to be presenting. In the headphones are binaural beats, solfeggio tones, as well as a curated sound journey that has an emotional crescendo, and its purpose is to take you to that place where emotions arise and to allow you to work through it and to know that you're safe, you're secure, you're supported, and that by being with those difficult emotions, those difficult feelings, being with those difficult thoughts, if you get through it, it's going to heal it. The vibration mat initiates your body. And in my experience, it draws out those traumatic things that my body's been holding. And when I've been in this experience myself with the goggles and the headset and the vibrating pad, I found myself, sitting in the dark with some really deep things. And I felt secure, I felt safe, and I felt like I moved through it in a way that I hadn't before. So after a session, participants report reduced stress, feelings of inner empowerment, healing, strengthening of the mind-body connection. Here's images of what it all looks like. There are some closed eye LED goggles. However, we're probably not going to use those at Burning Man just because people might be on substances. We do have a disclaimer form people will sign in case they have a health issue. And things like seizures, we can leave off the eye goggles and they're given the headset and the vibrating pad. So this is a multi-sensory opportunity. You don't have to have all of them. You can have just one depending on your ability or preference. The Casina, this little box that looks like an iPod, that is what regulates the vibrations, the sound, and the lights, and coordinates it all to work together. My slideshow is a little slow. Once you go through the experience, we found that some people need a little time, they need a soft landing, and they need to talk to someone about what they just went through. And we feel it's responsible as the facilitators of this experience to give them a place where they feel supported and heard. And this is an opportunity for volunteers to check in with our project and work with us at Burning Man. And we're looking for people who have, I'm trying to remember the term, it's care, sorry, I can't remember the term, but the Zendo project, they're facilitators of such care, just helping people through, holding space, supporting people. And we think that if people are allowed to have these emotional experiences, they can be transformed into valuable growth that they can use to propel themselves in a better direction in the future. And we're very mindful of sustainability. So we're working with the Renewable for Artists team called RAT. And they asked for submissions for 2022 Burning Man artists so they can support us to go full solar. And what they're doing is they're asking us what our lighting needs are and our energy needs are, and they're helping us with the mapping and the arts. And as an artist, I'm so grateful for that sort of logistic support because I don't really think in numbers. So they are open to anyone. You can find out more if you want to get your project to go solar. You can check them out on the Burning Man Hive. They have very extensive Solar 101 group discussions, and they're very open to questions. They're very welcoming. So our call for action is that I'm looking for a fabrication lead, somebody who doesn't necessarily have to do all the work, but could look at the cut list and support me on a build timeline. I have a very good idea, but I would love to have an expert person looking over my shoulder or standing next to me and being a part of the project. Totally invite that. We need ticketed volunteers to facilitate the experience during Burn Week. And that would be a greeter at the front, or there's going to be a little place, it's called the Communion Bar, where you can sit and have deep conversations while you wait for your turn, because it is one person at a time. Or the attendant that's inside the heart chamber, or an integration attendant. We have a volunteer questionnaire on our website. It has lots of questions, it's kind of fun. And how can you get a hold of us? My slides are slow, sorry. I think the next slide is just how to get a hold of us. Oh, well, that's a description of some of the group, but we have launched a fundraiser. We're raising $28,000 to go toward our materials and feeding our crew and the transportation costs and solar costs. So we appreciate any support you can. If at this time you don't feel like you could do a financial donation, if you could just share our campaign, that would help us greatly to get the word out about InterNurture and about healing people one heart at a time.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. I am just over the moon excited to get to come and help you build this thing. Whenever we figure out our schedules that we can be together and where we're going to be building, whether it's going to be in Arizona or in California, I'm just so excited to support you on this journey. It looks like we have one hand up. Do we have time for a question?
It's super quick. I'm on the Burning Man Hive, and you said rat. I don't see how to find rat on Burning Man Hive, because that's something I need to look into.
I'll send you the link, okay?
Okay, and great. Wow, you're really anyway, well, excited to see you out on the playa. Are you doing the temple though? The
She's being
Empyrean?
both. She's
You're
being
doing
both.
both.
Yep.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, Sylvia, you are in good company. We've got many Burning Man builders in this community. So I know you're very supported. Also people that love hexagons and all of the beautiful geometry. One of the things you didn't, I didn't see on the slides was talking about the eyes of the, how they're the circle, the flower of life. And they're going to be glowing and pulsing to like calling people in. So I know those are going to be really, really beautiful.
Yes, the laser cut wood with a mandala petal on the outside, and then there's a sacred geometry seed of light behind that. And the LEDs will make them change and bring people forth. And they're about 2 feet each up here. So.
And yeah, you do have,
Amazing.
About 3 more minutes if you want to share anything else, or if there's another question.
I was challenged a lot by people about it being one person at a time. Burning Man is so big, it's 80,000 people. How are you going to serve all the people? And I'm holding strong too. It's about intentional attention. And it's about slowing things down. And it's about making that person feel seen, heard, and given a space where they can address something that seems really, really big, and they can unpack it, and they are in a supportive environment. So yeah, a safe space. I feel so inspired to facilitate a place where people can come at their most vulnerable and transform through it. Somebody said to me, the only way to get healed is to go through it. And at first I was so resistant to that, because you think you kind of get familiar with your pain and you carry it around, and you were conditioned before to just grin and bear it, or push through it, or to do all that emotional work for other people, whether you're a man or a woman. Sometimes you get tasked with things that really aren't yours. And to be able to shift into your own peace, and to be more available for you in your own life, or to be more available for the people in your life that you love. I think it's so important to just clean that out, to give yourself space, to find a practice where you are connecting with, you're making a communion within yourself. So intra-nurture literally means within nurturing. So to nurture from within. And I'm really excited to share this, to get her going, and to see how people react with it. I'm very excited.
One of the things, my first burn, there's so much going on, and it's so busy, and it's just can be overstimulating. And so one of the things I really, really needed was something slower, something calmer, something more intentional. Not like trying to constantly blow your mind, even though this absolutely will, but in such a caring and loving way. I think that it has the potential to be really life-changing for people, and it's so inspiring. And I just want to thank you for coming and joining us and sharing.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and to bring this in with your community. And thank you all for everything you're bringing in, raising the vibration and educating people about how powerful we are and what good can come when we bring our energies together and support each other. So thank you. And thank you, Elena. You're my art sister. I love you deeply. I can't wait to see you again. So thank you for inviting me. I appreciate you.
Yay. Thank you, Sylvia. I can't wait to see you.
Yeah, I missed the beginning of your talk today because I was with Snow Raven, but I'm looking at your website. And of course, we met years ago on the playa, and then of course saw you at Arcosanti. But
oh, Harlan, I think you muted yourself.
oh no, you didn't hear any of that? Anyway.
No, we did. Just the last minute. So
I don't know how that happened. Okay, thank you, Sylvia. And yeah, I missed the beginning. Anyway, your website's incredible. I'm so excited for your new project. And thank you, Elena, also to connect with you here today. This is incredible.
yes,
Thank you.
it is funny how all of our circles are connecting far and wide. And as we continue to work together. I know that those connections will just continue to grow. I would love to bring up a new connection that I'm super excited to hear speak today. This is Jamar Smiley, also known as the Voice of the Northwest, is a spoken word artist, cultural curator, poet, author, and educator. His work captures the essence of a proud Black men, women, youth, and adult alike by diving deep into the people, the history, the upbringing, the communities, the ancestors, and the culture itself. Having endured the expropriation of our original culture, heritage, spiritual customs, and land, his art serves as a medium to garner healing from these traumas so that as we as a people can progress in a way nature intended in the efforts that one day we can live up to the moniker people of the sun. I'm so excited to meet you, Jamar. And if you want to unmute yourself, I think we're going to keep this very heart-centered morning continued.
Thank you.
Jamar.
Thanks for having me.
Am I pronouncing your right name correctly? Jamar.
Yes, you are.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I think my mother did that on purpose to kind of accentuate the R at the very end. And so for those of y'all who from Chicago know that there's no R in our language. And so to say my name in Chicagoan is just Jamar. And so the R is not ever pronounced. But yeah, you nailed it. You got it right. Okay. I'm a poet, so I'm gonna warm up and like do a little poem to warm up. Just something to kind of bring the space together, and really appreciate everyone who's come before me and everyone who's contributing to just to the community today. I love that. And so, okay. I am the stars in the ocean, the moon and sun, the entire universe, all groomed in one. I am the gaseous space in the sky where stars scatter. The galaxy's an endless room of dark matter. I am part flesh, part God, part ether. Notice all the grooves that chisel my sharp features. Mind-crafted, soul-shafted, love entity, a cosmic destructive force of pure energy. I am the one cast in Greece and in Kush and Kemet and the Andalese and in Mayans and Marshals that passed the seed and the Moorish, the Zulu, the Japanese. I am the son of the sun, the boldest light, where creation is patient and golden bright and mistakenly hated by old and white cavemen in a clan who would own the night. You are the chosen type, with your life to lead as you fight to survive for your right to breathe. And you breathe your last breath to bite the street for the taste of embracing the white supreme. You are the verses and scriptures infused with hope. Every action you take will be used for hope, to lift me from the tree that lay noose with rope and swing free from the branches the future holds. You are the future, past and the present mind, and your gifts are invested in blessing time. You are the sun and the moon, the ocean, stars, when the titans of Saturn elope with Mars, uniform at the space where the irons melt, just to form up the tips of Orion's belt, to be a weapon that stands strong through all heat, because at the heart of the start of it, you are me. There we go. If y'all with me, y'all can show a little love. I just want to.
Woo! Yeah.
That was amazing.
All right. That's powerful.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Okay. I appreciate you. Thanks for letting me warm up and kind of just, blessing the union real quick before I actually share a piece that I've kind of been working on. And when I got offered to be a part of this, I thought, wow, you know what? I'm going to do it right now. And so, yeah, well, let's go on a journey, So this is going to be a little different. And we'll see what comes out at the end, okay? Okay. Breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathe. Fill up the stomach, then the lungs, next, the brain, and last, the mind. And let the air flow from the roof of your mouth. Breathe. Feel the life surge into your body. Let it control you. Let it flow through every cavity of your brain, oozing into the deepest, darkest corners of the mind. Let it consume every cell in your blood until your body becomes one with the air. You are now the wind. You are now nature. You are now the ocean, the skies, and the trees. We are now connected. Can you feel the beauty? Can you feel the peace and the love as you start to wonder, why do we breathe? Can you feel it? The ripple of the wind, a wrinkle in time, very fickle, but it bends my reality, brings my existence to knees as my senses grow distant and split through the trees. The first two were captured. The third one was mastered. The fourth and the fifth one would die shortly after. The sixth of my senses were sown into senseless commitments of witches and misfits and thief. Breathe. Where am I? The sky is filled with smoke. My stomach burns, my lungs a furnace for the fire in my throat. So where am I? What happened to the peace? I breathe in creation, but this land is deceased. I've handed the keys of life to the keeper of grim and dim seasons for reasons that recently bend the wind's pretense, preventing the evil and sin. Seeing these men as senses and equal as kin ships throughout the world as frequent as wind, but the wind doesn't touch these sails. They float by in the breeze. Wait. Why can't I breathe? I stand face to face with reality, realizing that he's been with me all along. I tell him, my condolences to your mother. He tells me that the truth is alive and well, but she can only be seen by those who look, and she can only show those who will see. Sadly, you will never find her inside of a dream. The darkness in his eyes sent a wave of chills down my spine as I asked him, so what's up? The infant mortality rate among your people, that's what's up. The number of single parents in government homes in your community, that's what's up. What's up is the number of Black people dying from curable diseases, the number of your people risking everything to be falsely educated, the amount of money spent outside of the community, the amount of other people that profit off of your culture, the number of Black children dying from Black children, white children, Asian children, Hispanic children, white men, white women, white supremacy, Western civilization, the parasitic elite, big pharma, big tobacco, standardized testing, Eurocentric brainwashing, gentrification, sexual confusion and identification, integration, mental manipulation, spiritual degradation, monopolization, your car note, your electric bill, your phone bill, your cable bill, your Wi-Fi, your groceries, the water you drink, your rent, the cost of your living, the cost of your organs, the cost of your melanin, the profit margin of the prison industrial complex over the past 10 years. There's a whole lot that's up, but you are not it. You stand by on the wayside, chasing a renewable resource, hoping that it will create and fuel your dreams, forgetting that only thoughts can create and only the mind can dream. And the fuel is a tank full of imagination. And as you circle the path to success, your brain, the vehicle that'll take you down this road, begins to rust and fade away, because you will fade away. And all that will be left is your people, your community, and your legacy. And your people are lost. And then reality swings and the force brings me to my knees. Your community is divided as I become blind, deaf, and dumb, and numb to his presence, for my senses have left me. You have failed, and now the air is partly smoke, and I can't breathe, but I don't care. I start to choke, still no air, but in the corner of my mind, I see the mother of reality. I tell her, I can't breathe. I'm yelling, I can't breathe. I'm screaming, I can't Breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathe. Fill up the stomach, then the lungs, next the brain, and last the mind. And let the air flow from the roof of your mouth. Breathe. And hold. Hold it and keep it tight. Let your stomach and lungs contract as they try and save every last ounce of breath. Let your brain fire signals rapidly to the heart of panic and fear as your senses run wild and untamed. Let your mind cloud with thoughts of anger and hate and death. And when you think you can't go on no more, hold on, just hold on, but don't you dare take that breath. So we hold on. We hold on when baskets break our back as we make our way up and down fields. Who knew cotton could be so heavy? We hold on to the drums and the stars that drive us through this land, even when some of us might not be ready. We hold on when white hoods and white sheets creep through the night, setting fire to every crop in town that we own. We hold on to the food and the language and the books they give that destroy and degrade our homes. We hold on when little boys and little girls get blown up in the church or beaten, stabbed, and hung and drowned. We hold on when nothing has really changed for 500 years, but all we try and do is make a sound. We've been holding on for generations. More like they've been trying to take my breath for 500 years because they know that once I breathe, it'll take the combined forces of the world to try and stop me just to fall short of victory, a global suicide mission. And I don't know about you today, but I've been nice. I've smiled and sung and danced. I've laughed and hugged and yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, but I am done. I'm done explaining why you better not call me a nigga. I don't care how many black friends you got. I'm done being the token in the room that shows this group has diversity. I'm done being politically correct because politics don't come correct to me anyway. I'm done using my inside voice because in the pyramid, my voice echoes from chamber to chamber. I'm done being broke. I'm done being a thug or an athlete or a rapper. There isn't a stereo loud enough to tell you what type I am. I'm done living in fear. I'm done living a lie. I stand facing the truth. I won't run. I won't hide. I'm done playing this game and I won't hold on anymore. So if you are done being a slave to your weakness, chained up in greed, locked in a culture that aims to be free, if you are done playing victim and ready to be, if you are done building somebody else's dream, then no more code switching, no more tap dancing, no more passive excuses when you really just want to say step off, no more holding it in because there's greatness inside and the world needs to see it. It needs to breathe. It needs to live. So if you were ready to change, if you were ready to stand, if you were done holding on, then breathe. Breathe.
Ow!
In through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathe. Fill up the stomach, then the lungs, next the brain, and last the mind. And let the air flow from the roof of your mouth. Breathe. Wake up from the dream called society. Shower your body with love. Brush the negativity from your tongue. Scrub and rinse the oppression like dandruff from your scalp. Dry off all the haters. Moisturize the community. Address all your strengths and style them as needed. Buckle up your desires so they won't sag or hold you down. Arm your brain with knowledge. Load your mind with positivity. Open up the door to the world and reclaim your freedom.
That was awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Felt compelled to stand through that entire thing. I could not sit down. That was
Okay,
amazing.
okay. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was gonna stand, but you know. the camera would only catch my hip. So
I know you have a little time left, Jamar. Did you have one more? Are you complete? Because that was an incredible download, performance, gift. You don't have to keep going, but I just noticed that there was more time, and before I go through this like overflowing amount of gratitude that could never find words inside of me, I just want to give you the time that you still have allotted if you want to use it.
I'm not sure how much time I have left, and then I didn't know how long that poem was going to slide through. So maybe this is the time for us to just kind of us to just kind of just be in it for me. Yeah.
Oh, here's the contact. That was bliss. Whew. Does anyone have anything to share with Jamar? Can we start with just a round of gratitude? Unmute yourself.
Thank you.
Wow.
Wow. That was so powerful.
Thank you.
Took my breath away.
Thank you.
Power.
Bliss, by the way.
Hi, Jamar.
Thank you very much. It was awesome.
Oh,
Hey.
So potent.
Keep breathing.
Yes.
What a journey.
Thank you. Shout out to the person who said that's from Chicago. I saw it in the chat at the last minute when it popped up.
Chicago. We got a hand raise too. Mage, not Brent. Matt.
That's me. Yo, yeah, Mage is right. What's up, y'all?
Hey, what's up?
So I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. Deep Tropics crew. What up? But man, so really, like, I just went through a whole experience. Like, that was like a transformation, like, like Archangel, like the wings coming out the back experience whenever you started with the breathe. Cause I'm on lunch break right now listening to this, and that was my prompt. I was like, man, I've been standing up. I'm standing up through my lunch break, and like I was like, I'm gonna do some yoga, and like that poem started right when I started doing yoga, and I burst into tears and like felt this like dismantling of all this tension, and like went through all that motion, like to like a mother grieving on the ground, and it was like so visceral, and I felt it. And I just want to thank you for your contributions to consciousness through this. And I'm a producer. I live in Nashville, so I'm south of Chicago. I go to Chicago pretty frequently. But man, like, I don't know if you're open to me sending you some beats, man. I'd love to like see what happens with that if you're open to that. But that was incredible. I felt that in all my soul.
Appreciate you, Mage. I appreciate you. That's huge, man. It's when I write, I kind of think of myself in the meditative space, and so maybe that's where it came from. But for it to align with people, starting their yoga practice or starting their relaxation practice, that's huge. That's that speaks wonders to the word. So thank you, man. And
absolutely,
if you got my info, go ahead and tap in. I'm okay with that.
Incredible. And so just to like other context today, I'm working a filler job right now, and I'm just putting up with it because it's it's like in between what I really want to be doing, and being able to listen to this summit and being plugged in this community, it's just like there is such an incredible world that's possible, and it's like stuff like this. It's just like proof of concept, like we're moving forward, and I'm just grateful for this experience. So thanks again.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, Jamar, today is all about resilience and coming together. And, I don't know if you got to tune in yesterday. I don't think you did, because I remember you were kind of busy, but Aliko came and shared about the history of capitalism, and it was real. It was important. And like, the resilience, like the 500 plus years of resilience that you spoke to today, and the fact that like, it is time, we got to stand up, this is not okay. And like, here we are doing our best to come together and stand for what's possible, and actually equitable and just future for all life, not just some people, but like the whole planet. And the gift of your spoken word and your history and your ancestry and what you're standing for, and the power of your word and your resolve is so profound. And like, I'm honored that you came to be a part of this community and to join us today. Thank you.
Roxy, thank you. It lined up perfectly. Like I just like finished, expelling this piece, and I thought, okay, I can do this now. And so,
Well, I was watching the stream, like in the, we got about 50 some people in here, about 300 people on the stream. We're seeing it. So I hope whoever's out there, you like feel this and feel the call, stand up together.
yes,
We can,
yes. And
Yeah.
whoever else is out there seeing it, you can find me on socials and the websites and all that stuff. And also always tap in with these people here. Okay, this is really a new era. And so I love the term regen era, because this is really a new era. And so, we're ushering in something that the world's gonna need. And so we all here.
We all here. I love spoken word. I studied the hip hop revolution and how important and integral spoken word was to like the roots of hip hop and then the roots of rap. I'm also from Nashville. And so whenever Aliko shared about you and your work, I was like, yes. So thank you so much for coming. And yeah, I'll put all your links. We'll put them in the chat here, and I'll put them in the chat that goes out to all the stream too. And I hope we get to keep playing, and I'd love to invite you to be a part of, the Design Science Studio community of artists. There's so many people who care and are amplifying their creativity to accelerate equitable, just, regenerative futures. So this is that era, and thank you, Jamar.
Thank you for having me. Anybody who's open to it, you can always find me. I'm a person, so I'll talk to you. So don't let the social media fool you. I will actually reach out and say hey to you.
That was incredible. That was so powerful, Jamar. I was that made me cry. So yeah, it's something that touches deep. So I just want to say thank you. And I just found you on Instagram, actually.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you. Yeah, we'll be in touch, definitely.
Yeah, we'd love for you to partner with us for the Design Science Studio, be part of it, tap in, whatever feels right for you.
Yes. And I hope those were tears of healing, okay?
Yeah, those are tears of many mixed emotions. So yeah. Thank
That's
you.
beautiful. Thank you.
All right. So, damn. So next up, I'm still kind of reeling a little bit, and I think our next speaker is also reeling. She caught a lot of that, those powerful messages from Jamar. I'm also honored to invite Veronica Anderson up to the center stage, who is a member of the Design Science Studio and also a member of the Design Science Studio cohort. She's a visionary architect with more than a decade of experience in the field of sustainable development. She's a land listener, ecstatic mystic inspired by ancestral wisdom, who's building a world that works for all with the tools of the sacred architecture and regenerative community development. She holds the world's first master's in geodesign. That's very cool. And is using this to develop innovative technological approaches for participatory urban planning and ecological urbanism worldwide. And she runs Home Dash. And we are really excited to hear more from you, Veronica.
Thank you so much, Faith, for that introduction. And thank you, Jamar, for opening it up, for really celebrating that communion with us, with your whole being. And I lit this candle while you were praying, celebrating, praising, grieving, and I honor the resilience that you're bringing to this conversation today. And we'll hold this light on behalf of all the ones who are missing it, who can use a bit of our peace today, and it'll be here with us as I share about my work, which is such a privilege. Being a part of the Design Science Studio has really opened so many doors for me, and I know it's only possible because of the journey that I've been on. And I feel a little breathless right now, so I'm going to resonate that call to breathe. And if you want to meet me at the bottom of your next exhale, we can breathe together. And sighing it out. 2 more like that, breathing in together. Okay. 1 more breath for deep coherence. Exhaling all that doesn't serve the greatest good for all. I find it so poetic how coming together is already healing. And when we come together, we are more resilient and creating a world that works for all, because together, in true togetherness, we're listening, we're connecting. And so it's from that space that I'll share my practice of deep design with you all today. And this is going to be a little bit of a journey. So I just invite you to really ground yourself now and take good care of your attention and focus. We're going to start small, get a little bit bigger, and then go really big. This practice of deep design is about creating inner and outer architectures for a new earth. And when I say new earth, I'm referring to what our ancestors called a new humanity. And I like to think about architecture as a tool for healing the bond between humans and nature. So I'm a visionary architect and I build temples and regenerative communities. And I'm working on what Faith mentioned earlier, which is called Home Dash. And this is a planetary regeneration system based on my training in geodesign. And the problem that I'm really here to share solutions for is that we think that we're separate from nature. We act like we can just take all of these resources that are so abundant around us and dispose of them without any kind of consequence. And we've really fallen out of reciprocity with nature, which I believe is an eons old problem that really has spiraled out into all of the social inequality that we witness in our society today. And all of our environmental problems are actually social problems. So I wanted to figure out how could I take my architecture practice, which I was very privileged to gain through my studies in the United States, and create something that is a framework for designing with nature. Because architects are the poets of culture. Architecture stands the test of time when it's done well and leaves a mark on the earth and speaks to generations after us about what was important to us, what we truly valued. So I'm speaking to you from the indigenous lands of the Wetar people in Costa Rica, near the capital city of San Jose. I live at an artist colony, and it's so interesting that we still use that word colony. Speaking to decolonization, this is a very interesting place to be rooted. And during the pandemic, I was invited to design a meditation space or a communal space for the community. And I said no a few times because I didn't feel like that was authentic to these values of deep interconnectedness that I share with my ancestors. And ultimately, I decided that I could do this if I had the blessing of the indigenous people who were the ancestral caretakers of this land. So I went and asked for their permission, and they said yes. And so we continued on this journey. And the development of this temple, which is called Gaia Tika, because Tika is the name for a Costa Rican woman, and Gaia is the name for our planet, was inspired by this art piece in the center, the sculpture by a local artist. And what happened was I listened very deeply to what the land wanted to become, because I had been saying no, and that something kept inviting me to do this work. And so I really emptied myself through a process of mindfulness meditation and walking meditation and deep silence. And we began to bring the designs from paper into life. And so this is what we were doing during the pandemic. And I had a lot of time to myself, and I was very empty and allowing the resonance of the earth to come through me. And she said, if you really want this to be a sacred offering that makes the land better than it was before you got here, please put something foundational in the foundation. And so the indigenous elder, the shaman who lives 20 minutes from here, said, you can put in the foundation what we do, what the Wetares do, which is you can add grass for life, seeds for birth, and bones for death. And so this is underneath the center of the floor of the temple. And so a few months later, the rains came and we had to pause. And so you get this beautiful vision of the underpinnings of the structure of Gayatika. And you can see that these beams on the top are a perfect circle. And these are actually just two branches of a tree that we quartered. This is a fallen branch that was actually trimmed to support crop growth on a neighboring farm. So these are local materials. And to me, this speaks to the way that humans are here and our role, which the Indigenous Native American people have been reminding us for centuries. Our role as humans is to mend the sacred hoop of life, to weave together the life that's around us and to play a healing role. So then last March, just over a year ago, we finished the temple and inaugurated it or her. And this tree that you can see on the right that's blooming actually bloomed 3 days before the inauguration ceremony. And we had joked during the process that wouldn't it be funny if that tree actually bloomed when we finished the project? And it did, as if to say, good job, thank you. So this is a little walkthrough of the space. And if the video doesn't play, I'm just going to keep going because you can catch it on my YouTube channel, which you can visit at veronica.earth. There are links to all my platforms there from that website. We're just going to keep moving along here because this temple is a small example of how architecture so this kind of togetherness wasn't possible on this land before this temple. And I believe that this photo in the bottom left really says it all. Everybody deserves beautiful spaces that are a third space, something separate from their home, a place where they can go to connect with their neighbors. And this used to be what our town squares were for, or the market. But urban design has largely left that out. And so we lack spaces to actually come together. And so delivering this space to the community means that there was somewhere for Bobby to celebrate his 85th birthday. And all of these different people from the community could come together in a neutral space where they felt safe and held and secure. And that is a true privilege. So at the next scale of design that deep design embraces, there's master planning. So I just explained a small intervention and how that had an impact on people as individuals. But I've been really curious about the nested holes of architecture. And so I developed this process for master planning that I initiated at a community called Diamante Luz. And this is a community that's coming together to practice permaculture and land regeneration practices. And so they have a deep spiritual practice and relationship with the land, but I wanted to empower them to become their own architects because this is something that historically was common. People could develop their own communities and empower each other, through barn raisings and shared building practices. But nowadays we've really lost that because of the heavy influence of governments on our building and development process. So I wanted to make architects obsolete in this case, and I wanted to teach them to become their own architects. And this is the process that we developed. So over the course of 7 days, we went through this workshop where we started with catharsis, which is a clearing of the energetic slate. We asked them to take an inventory of their own personal actions and to make amends where there were injuries amongst the community. And then we were able to go through this creation process where we practiced listening deeply to the land to decide how we were going to develop. And finally, we practiced detachment. And that is about this release, which allows true creation to happen. We design a master plan, but that needs to be a living document because nothing is always what we ask or expect. Change is the only constant in life. So a lot of times communities will get a master plan delivered to them and then feel helpless to act on it or to change it or to really give feedback. And so this arc of the process has been serving for that. So one of the tools that we used is the Regeneration Tetrad. And this comes from the lineage of Regeneissance, the Regeneissance Institute. And we start by looking at the unique potential of the community and the land. A beautiful bird just landed outside my window. And then we work together to identify 3 goals that everybody could come together around based on that unique potential. And then they identified their common aim. And this is something that's totally impossible to measure. You're probably not going to reach it in this lifetime, but everybody knows that they're working on it. And in this case, their aim was remembering oneness, which was such a powerful, resonant aim. And then we developed instruments which could help them to achieve this aim or work to achieve their goals and work toward the aim. So these are visible and invisible instruments. And you can see I've used the sacred geometry of the Metatron's cube or Merkaba. There's a lot of names for this. You might recognize it as the Star of David. But this upward facing triangle and downward facing triangle is a symbol of heaven and earth coming together or opposites uniting. And so what we did is we designed these invisible architectures or structures for the community that would hold them through the future while they're developing these visible architectures. So what we would normally think of as architecture would be a welcome center, a learning laboratory, a culture center. But we wanted to emphasize through this process that those physical structures need invisible or non-physical structures to help them manifest. And now I'm going to share with you a little bit more about what this land listening practice really is. Bear with me while it loads.
Now send your awareness to the core of the earth. The heart of Gaia. Send your awareness there. Affirming I
am loving.
Am loving awareness. See if you can sense a response from Gaia. She knows you're here with her. And that is all she requests. What we're trying to do is work with what's already here and amplify it, because it's a lot easier. Just like in permaculture, when you put unnative species or things together that don't work together, you have to work harder. We're working with the nature of this place. So I want you to notice how all of us have gathered here even before I started talking. This is a natural place of pause and reflection. Everybody who came to this zone right here became quiet and focused on their task. I noticed that you were writing, thinking, feeling, versus when we were on the slope over there, we were disconnected, we were a little confused, and the energy was separated. So we can think about maybe over there is a space for individual work as a one person, and maybe here is like a coming together place where we want to share this moment of pause. The words I wrote are gather, pause, and nook. We're nestled under this hill. It feels a little bit enclosed. And when I look this way, I feel like I'm flying. There's this expansive but closed place. And this is something that in my designer eye starts to create ideas. All right, but I'm first open to the unique potential of the place. And then I start to think about what that could become.
So this is something that I feel is very much missing from our process of development and sustainable development today. We really have this kind of colonizer mentality where we think that we can come to a place and imprint what we believe it should be. And instead, I want to promote a way of listening very deeply to guidance systems, including the people of a place. And so the next step in this process was to encourage individuals to create their own vision, share it with the community, and then release it so that it could become a collective vision. So we ended up in the attachment phase burning these plans and surrendering to the emergence that wanted to come out of it. And so what we're witnessing, I believe now, is a revival of the commons where we're trying to regenerate or pro-generate, as Tatiana mentioned the other day in a conversation, pro-generate this common resource, the one thing that we all share, which is our planet. So in the final segment of this talk, I'm going to share with you about how I'm creating a planetary regeneration system, because what's happening at Diamante-Luz is not the only group of people who are coming together, mixing expats and locals, ancient wisdom and new modern technologies to build a world that works for all life. This system is called Home Dash, and it's based on the principle of biomimicry and this collective consciousness that we witness in ants, bees, birds, fish, and mycelia. And what it is a planetary operating system for regenerators and solutionaries who are supporting land listening at a global scale. So in the video, I talked about how we can really pause before designing and understand the unique potential of a site. And when we do that at a global scale by looking at what Buckminster Fuller called a world resources inventory, then we can have what Home Dash is trying to be, which is a dashboard for visualizing the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And so we're using geospatial data and GIS technologies to create heart coherence at a global scale and really heal the relationship between humans and nature. So I invite you to go to homedash.earth to understand more about this work. There's a geodesign lab that's emerging here in Costa Rica, which is going to collect, maintain, and design data about sustainable development. And you can also join us on Friday at noon Pacific for a deep dive into the geodesign methodology. And just to leave it here, I want to remind you that everything exists within inside of you. The very same geometry that has made this universe possible is the same underlying structure of your being. So as you work for a world that works for all, please remember that your inner architectures are what are creating the world around us. And please reach out to me if you'd like to continue the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Coming up on stage with you. There we go. Hi, that was amazing. Thank you so much for all of your work and being so integrated and helping to guide others to have a more holistic and integrated approach. And also for, in the process of sharing about your work, distilling some of these key principles that we can all bring into the way that we're orienting to the world around us, to architecture, to the natural world, as a guideposts, I think. Not everyone thinks about this sort of thing, and I think that you have, in what you just shared, really helped to ground or land the ship in many ways. I think for a lot of people who may be listening or are listening, and maybe this isn't the kinds of thing that they think about often. So I'm really looking forward to how your work can continue to expand and touch the world. I am so inspired by all of the levels with which you're working, both on the digital infrastructural mapping scale, like reorienting to the way that we understand and see the planet, reorienting to the way that we're relating to ourselves, and also to the systems that we're building and the way that we can have more integrated approaches in our inner and outer architecture. So
thanks,
yeah.
Roxy. Thank you.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Veronica recently joined the Design Science Studio team and has been directing partnerships, and we're really grateful that she has, stepped forward in this time, both as a revolutionary, and also as a member of the team to help to weave this critical component of collaboration across initiatives, organizations who are also making a stand for a regenerative future. So I look forward to everyone getting to interact with your work more. Can you share a little bit about the other upcoming sessions that you're going to have?
Absolutely. I believe tomorrow I'll be joining Liv Scott and holding space for some earth grief processing. So I want to recognize that there's a lot of emotions in this work of building a world that works for all. And so I'll be supporting them in holding that space tomorrow. And with a very deep listening to the slowest moving part in all of us, which is that wounded, traumatized aspect of our collective consciousness. And then on Friday, I'll be joining Shanita King and Catherine Alvarez in a work called Alchemical Architectures. And these are two powerhouse feminine leaders who are also architects. And we're diving deeply into the problems that we see in the practice and industry of architecture itself, and 3 different solution sets, including ontological design, sensorial urbanism, and geodesign. So thank you for the opportunity to share. This is such an amazing community, and the journey through the studio these last 9 months has just been a total rebirth. So deep gratitude to you, Roxy, and the whole team. Yeah.
Thank you, love. And so excited for everyone to tune in to those sessions and to get to collaborate more with Veronica's work. And yeah, much gratitude to the whole studio team and to everyone tuning in, to being a part of this moment in time. We have a special message from our guardian of consent today.
Welcome to Regenera, where our ideas build the city and those ideas work for 100% of all life. My name is Margie, and I will be your guardian of consent today. Here on Regenera and beyond, many hands can create a space of safety and love as we are all here together creating this container. An excellent way to continue to cultivate any space, especially a floating city, is to center consent. Consent is beyond permission. It takes into account that every human, every piece of life on Earth has some sort of voice and deserves choices that cultivate a container of agency around oneself in any interaction. Consent is something that we engage in every day, from making decisions with friends, to asking someone for a hug, to telling someone no, and even to choose not to litter. While consent is something that we engage in every day, we also engage in non-consensual systems every day, such as capitalism, white supremacy, the patriarchy, and any system that forces us to participate in order to maintain power. The Earth is regularly forgotten in conversations around consent and boundaries. How are we not listening to the Earth's boundaries when the Earth holds the most power of all? At its core, consent is regenerative. It is infinite and something that we can practice with one another and the planet every single day. It is freely given, uncoerced, and non-exclusive. It asks the question of, where do I hold power when I navigate this place? And how do I empower the agency of others with the power that I do have? As creators, change makers, artists, activists, teachers, and students, we must act with integrity, accountability, and love in our hearts as we usher in a new era. Love is also a regenerative gift that we give each other. Love has been commodified and has been placed in a box as something that is finite, when in reality, we can act in love every day, whenever we want, and love and consent are caring acts. It is both tangible and intangible. It is infinite. Love is a cornerstone in the foundation of Regenera. Digital boundaries are a newer and more nuanced sector of how consent operates. How will we continue to support one another in this space today as we meet globally across cultures on the internet? As we enter this space of questioning, discovery, and learning today, I encourage us all to get out of our comfort zones and to learn new concepts. Growth begins at the edge of your comfort zone, and sometimes emotional activation can be the vital tonic that we need to learn something new. I also encourage everyone to take care of yourselves and to take care of others today while engaging online. Together, we can create a new world that works for 100% of all life. I hope that you gain some new skills, engage with some incredible art, and enjoy the journey of Regenera Rising.
I have exciting news that our Guardian of Consent will be hosting a consent workshop later today. So in a moment, I will start to go through our orientation of some of what's coming up throughout the day. And for those of you who I don't know, hi, my name is Roxy. I am the director and architect of the Design Science Studio. You met Faith Flanagan a few minutes ago. She is also one of the founders, with myself and Nicolas Alcala and also Amanda Joy Ravenhill. And we are but a part of a larger team, and so many volunteers and creators and partners and people who believe in this work. And so I just want to acknowledge all of those seen and unseen who have helped make this happen. There are over 350 unique experiences that were submitted to this 11-day summit. And over 160 different content creators, and we have been working as efficiently as we can to make sure that this has been brought to you all with as much care as possible. As the title of the event says, this is a confluence of creators of regenerative futures. That means that it is not only our community within the Design Science Studio, but it is a bringing together, a coming together of different individuals, creators, initiatives, organizations, and the more than human world, who is all kind of working. We're working to see how we might cooperate for a more equitable and just future. And that starts by helping make visible all of the brilliant work that is being done around the world to shift culture. So just want to acknowledge all of the people who have so carefully tended their visions and courageously brought them forward in this time. And it is a time of radical change, and a time where all of our voices, our unique perspectives are needed to touch and inspire the world to move towards the few options we have left to make it as humanity, and to move in a synergistic dance as we move forward through time, and as quickly as we can shift away from the systems that are crumbling and degrading to build ones that are life affirming and supportive for all and not just some. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for being here. Even just being here is a huge support, and it is affirming for so many people who are courageously bringing their work forward. So with that, I'm going to share one more little video about kind of how to orient around the platform, the Trove platform that we are using to kind of showcase all of the work of the creators and the artists and the organizations, initiatives that are coming together for this summit. And then I'll show a little popcorn of different things that are going on. And I will also talk a little bit about a very special exhibition that's opening today. So first I'll share this video that more concisely will go through the basics, and then from there I will kind of walk through some more pieces. Oops, can't hear it. Wait, that's because I put it on don't make noisy sounds without me telling you mode. Hold on. Yesterday Bliss said, yesterday, this is my circus, and these are which I very much appreciated. But yes, this is a little bit of an earth circus, so bear with us. There we go. Perfect.
Either scroll down the page or use the purple bar at the top to jump to the section that you're looking for. Each event has different sections that are turned on and off. The Happening Now section shows everything currently going on, with a quick way to either join the session or to preview what is happening. The Check-in Map is a module for virtual conferences, which allows attendees to see where everyone is calling in from. You can click on the different cards to see people's responses and where they checked in from, or you can click on them to see their response in a pop-up window and cycle through by clicking Next. The Featured section is a way to showcase different speakers or presenters at a specific event. The Agenda shows all the different sub-events for multi-session and multi-day conferences. There are lots of other sections, such as sponsors, related events, and comments. But let's dive into the agenda. This event is the Regeneration Rising launch for the Design Science Studio. Pretty awesome. Each event has different views at the top right corner. The gallery view is best for exploration. The long card view is my personal favorite, which shows topics as well as the different stages. The list view is designed for a quick glance and easy ability to find events listed in chronological order. The calendar view gives a big picture view of the entire week for a multi-day event. And last, the timeline view. The timeline view is a detailed agenda that allows you to see events that are happening at the same time. You can also toggle between week or day view to be able to zoom in and see everything that's happening for the specific day that you're interested in. For all these views, you can change the way that the events are searched and filtered. For example, you can filter by topics. These filters will filter across all the different views. You'll be able to see that there are 5 events between April 21st and May 1st which have these topics. You can click on the X to remove any topic filters. You can also search by the session category and session types, for example, workshops. Each one of these views allows you to click on the particular cards and see a preview of what's happening with the date, information, as well as ways to either share, join the session if it's in progress, or add it to your calendar. These cards will also have the related information such as participants or related events.
Cool. That was great. So now you know how to get around. Hopefully you followed around and got a little bit of a lay of the land. So now I will show you a little bit more about what's coming up. Let me just share the right window. What a day. What a day it has already been. Oh, goodness. Okay, amazing. So at the top here, as mentioned, there are a few buttons. One of them is agenda. So if we click agenda, we pop down to where we are. One thing that's cool is that there's this button that says show only future. If you unclick it, it'll also show you the past, which is neat, because then if you had seen something in the last few days and you wanted to go back and you wanted to connect with whoever it was that was featured, you can kind of click on the past events. And right now we're in the process of actually linking the videos to those so that you can also check out the recordings. So we'll let you know as soon as that's live. I want to just shout out to all the team members who are working on that. So yeah, that is just an exciting thing that's going on with this platform, and only possible because of this platform. But now that I've clicked that, I have to go back because we've already had a gazillion events. Go teams, you just unclick the button that I just checked so that you can move past that. So back to the schedule. So here we are in today. So far, amazing. We had a session with Harsur of the Temple of Shamanism and Science, the opening ceremony. We had a session with Tatiana. Intra Nurture came and shared about the sculpture of healing with a purpose. Hopefully most of you caught Jamar Smiley and the Smiley experience. One thing that I'll show you, just using Jamar as an example, is that you also can see that there's participants connected to each experience. And so if you view the participant themselves, then you'll go to a page and you can check out their links and learn more about their work and follow them there. So that's a super helpful feature that only exists because of Vincent. Thanks, Vincent, for being a member of the Design Science Studio, believing in this work, and also helping make this platform really work for this 11-day summit. All right, back to the agenda for the future. So here we are. Here I am orienting. Then we're going to do the news report, the energy of the day. If you hover over, I'm not sure if you see it because I have just the window selected, but it'll give you a little preview. Then after that, we will have a figure studies with Alicia's Sacred Heart. And that is going to be here on the Vision Train. And you can learn more about Alicia's Sacred Heart as well. And then we will have a session happening at the same time with Elise. Here we go. And that is going to be in a different room. So this session is all about net zero hydrocarbon economy discussion. And so this is an interview with Charles Martins and Roland Stanich to introduce plasma technology that enables a more interconnected hydrocarbon economy. And this is all about net zero emission electricity. And they're leading the development of plasma-based techniques for hydrocarbon processing, and it offers unprecedented improvement for the energy efficiency and production. And so these are scientists who have been bootstrapping plasma technology and have laid the path for hydrocarbon production. So pretty epic panel. Definitely check it out. And thank you, Elise, Revolutionary of the Design Science Studio, for bringing that to this community. And after that, we'll have a discussion between David Bloom and Richard Ramsey. They're going to be having a conversation about taking action in important relationships, looking at a structure that can support kind of strength, stability, and the development of relationships. And ARC stands for Affinity, Appreciation, Reality, and Communication. So this will be looking at how to strengthen an interconnected system in our relationships. Around the same time that we will have, or right after that, we have the beginning of consent for a better world. So this is with Margie Marlowe, our guardian of consent, who just shared with us. And you just learned a little bit about why consent is important and integral to Regenera. I just wanted to highlight that we get to have a whole hour with Margie here in the main train station, and really encourage everyone to tune in for that, to be able to create change and ourselves and our relationships with the world, and understand the power structures that are underlying a lot of our society, so that we can dismantle them and reorient to the way that we are showing up. And halfway through the consent workshop, there'll be a presence through play session that's going to be in the space of the other room that's called Biophilia, and that's with Mike Gillerman. And so this is all about mindfulness and play to unleash your innovative brilliance. So that's happening in Biophilia, in the same room that the discussion with Elise is happening. We'll have a little bit of a deep dive into the Design Science Studio, who we are, what we do, and how you can get involved. And then right after that, we will have a voice activation for Visionaries workshop with Marley Benedicto. And that will be happening here on the Vision Train. Then we will kick off our Planetary Salon. And inside of the salon, we'll have a performance by Daria Rabnos, also known as Calypso. And this is all about the overview effect. And so this will be a really powerful dance performance. And we really hope that you can tune in for this half hour with Calypso. And then after that, we'll hear from some citizens of Regenera. And then we'll be joined, hopefully, this might be getting rescheduled, but we'll hopefully be getting joined by Mora Gamble and Bermiki Bisimwa Dusabi, who are two amazing people who are a part of Regenerosity, one of the other programs of Buckminster Fuller Institute. And this will be all about exploring a new edge of permaculture, myceliating through refugee settlements, and how young people are making sense of this in their own way through music, mushrooms, peace, and practivism, compost, and conversation. So I know one is tuning in from Africa and the other from Australia. So that's going to be pretty special. And then Raphael will have Future Feasts, Show and Tell, learn a bit about the future of food and equity. I went to Raphael's dinner recently, and it was so powerful. Future Feasts was an amazing experience, and the chef that was cooking is like a Michelin star chef that serves Michelin star meals to the houseless, and she is just like a powerhouse for equity and how everyone deserves to have good and healthy food, and brought me to tears. So I'm excited to see what we'll learn in that session. And then there's a session all about building climate change resilience for rural communities and ensuring stable water security. And so this is with Rahastan and Maharashtra, who are building more than 12,000 rainwater harvesting structures that are helping to impact so many lives across India, Afghanistan, Myanmar, and more. So that's going to be happening at the end of the day before we have our celebration. We'll have some closing remarks, and then we'll have some time to get into our bodies and celebrate. So that's a little bit of what we have ahead today. And now I will stop the share, and I will let you all know a little bit about something that is launching today that I'll get to share a little bit more about midday. But we're invited to participate in our very first NFT collection, which I mentioned this a little bit last night, but if you weren't with us, we have been kind of entering this space very mindfully and carefully, because we are aware that the technology is new and definitely not perfect when it comes to the environment and also equity structures. And one thing that I wanted to let you all know about this platform is that it is using proof of stake instead of proof of work. And so the actual carbon emissions that each transaction of this platform are using are less than 1 charge of your smartphone. So it is by and large one of the best current possible platforms and chains that we can be using to showcase the work. And this was a show that we were invited to participate in with Gray Area, our partners. Thank you, Gray Area, by Doing Good, this organization. And it's for the Sustainable Development Goals. And so we were chosen as one of the communities for this drop with Doing Good. And it's called Terrain Perceptions. It just went live. And it is a NFT exhibition presented by the Design Science Studio in Gray Area that explores and perceives a regenerative future that works for all life. And it is featuring 27 different artists from the Design Science Studio and the Design Science Studio community and fellow collaborators. And it's really pushing the mediums between generative art and planetary time. We also have indigenous perceptions of the natural environment and 3D worlds. And a portion of the proceeds go to support the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal of zero hunger. So I want to encourage everyone to jump in and check it out. And if this calls to you to maybe buy some art. So I'll put this in the chat as well so that you can check out the amazing work of so many of the artists in the studio. This is one of artists from first cohort. It's a little glitchy, but so we'll do it kind of deeper review. Also tomorrow morning at 9, there's going to be a conversation that's happening in their Twitter space with a bunch of the artists who are in the collection. And artists also include Amanda Sage, Chris Weir, and so many more. So really encourage you to check out that. And just want to thank all the artists who are a part of it and who created work for the show. And I'm also going to share that we are, share screen one more time. We have a fundraising campaign that's live during the studio launch. So thank you to the generous 7 supporters who have supported the fundraising campaign so far. The work of the Design Science Studio, it's a nonprofit program of the Buckminster Fuller Institute and Hub Ritual, which is my creative studio. And it is definitely operating in large part thanks to the generous support of patrons and collaborators around the world. And so we're really excited to continue the work and initiatives of the studio and to continue the work of amplifying and creating platforms for artists and creators who are amplifying the regenerative culture. Lots of amplification. So we need support. And so we're asking for it. And thank you for coming and for being a part of this movement to have a more equitable world for all life. So I'll share a little bit more about our mission and vision in the middle of the day. And I just want to thank you all for being here and really want to celebrate all of the artists who have come together to share their work and who have been incubating their work in the studio, and also to all of our collaborators and partners. And with that, I am going to invite our friends who are here to share some of the news.
Hello, hello. We're beaming to you live from Regeneration, the heart of the Regenaissance. I can't imagine more of a sense of beaming that we've experienced today from the deep breath of Toyuk that we've all experienced and witnessed together. I thank everybody for the morning. And now we have Shant, who is going to share with us. Shant weaves dreams upon the warp and loom of space and time, harmonizing the energetic threads of seemingly contrasting frequencies into a synthesized tapestry of scientific art and galactic culture, shamanically initiated by the mysteries of the universe, specializing in the imaginative use of storytelling, movement, sound, and light. He is currently on Earth as a galactic emissary to practically implement visions of peace, harmony, health, and healing, and he's presenting the news direct from the noosphere. Thank you, Shad, for joining us today.
Thank you, Mark. And I would also like to really thank the Design Science Studio and this event for offering this space every day to share this daily news report. I'm really grateful and I recognize the privilege, and I'm excited to continue sharing this. So I will screen share now, and we can start. One second. Okay, welcome to the news, also known as the Natural Order Operating System. And the news is reimagining a news that can be healing and creative and create this field for us, the positive side of what news, the potential of news could be. And so one aspect of it is this notion of a time weather reportal. So what is a time weather report or reportal? So we are in a time of change. This event is all about that. And a time of change, there's a lot of challenges and people suffering and grief and all these things. So to contextualize one way of contextualizing what it is that we're transitioning from the biosphere to the noosphere. And the noosphere is this idea of the conscious planetary mind. We're becoming aware, we're awakening of our own conscious self as a whole planet. And our timing systems are changing from linear mechanized time to time that's based on the body, 13 fingers and 13 joints and 20 fingers and toes. And so a time weather reportal is a useful offering in that time can be defined as an atmosphere of the mind. And so if we order our time, then we can order our minds and we can order space harmoniously. So the calendar system being like an operating system of the mind, if it's aligned to the natural order, the synchronic order where synchronicities happen, we can be more harmonious and at peace. And it can actually serve to bring some ease and comfort to those who are suffering. So let's get into it. Today is April 27th in the Gregorian dating system. And in this newer calendar system, the new Sirius state is Sirius being the star that oops, sorry, I just got it. I forgot to there's all sorts of music, right? Okay. This is actually in line with the energy of the day. So Sirius is the star that we're aligning to, the galactic star that this calendar system is aligned to. So it's the 34th cycle, 34th year, 10th moon month, 24th day in this other system. So let us enter the natural order weather sphere or fourth dimensional solar galactic time, the now sphere. We'll talk about the solar calendar starting with the year, then the moon, and then the 7-day cycle that we're in, the week. And then we'll get into the galactic with the 13-day cycle and then the energy of the day. So take it easy. This may be new information to you. Just allow what you see to permeate your being, to resonate, and listen to your body and listen to your breath and see what is actually useful and beneficial, what sticks out to you, so that you may carry it and have it be of some positive benefit to you throughout the rest of the day. Here are the two calendars. So here's the solar calendar. We're in the yellow electric seed year, starting from last July to this upcoming July. So a few more months in this energy of bonding awareness to flower our consciousness and to come to greater service. So we're exploring what to focus on to activate this awareness. And we're guided by creativity. So indulge in as much creativity as you possibly can in the next few months. We're in the 10th moon month, the planetary moon. And the theme is how we perfect what we do. All about manifestation of what we've been working on for since last July. And we're in the last week of this moon month, the yellow week, the 3rd day. And the yellow week is all about how our power is ripening what we worked on within the 28-day cycle of manifestation. So this week is all about how enlightenment stabilizes this sense of timelessness. So as we become enlightened by new discoveries and our awareness awakens, this week we'll Sorry.
It wants to play some ratchet music, right?
Yeah. Sorry. I hope that we may hear that again, but that is an innovative, it's a funny song that is it's a meme circulating around. So that's another part of the news, you know, the memes. So in terms of the plasmas, the 3rd day connects to our 3rd eye chakra. So you may notice your 3rd eye awake or more active today because the plasma is streaming there. Okay. Galactic cycle now, the 13-day cycle. We're on the 5th day of this cycle of the blue eagle, all about vision, creativity, and mind. And on the 5th day is a turning point, as you could see. We were identifying our basis of action the first 4 days. And today we take command on everything that we've discovered these past 4 days. So the purpose, the challenge, the service, the form, all these things that we were working on before, today is a very empowering day for this. Empowering literally, as in the blue overtone storm, that's the symbol of the day. The overtone energy, which is this line, the 5th line, is all about empowering and commanding and radiating. And the blue storm is just like a storm. It catalyzes energy and it's all about what we generate ourselves, self-generation. Also, today is a galactic activation portal. If you can see these green squares here, these squares are like the framework of this harmonic module, this galactic calendar, the 260-day calendar. And these green spaces are really high energy and they are galactic activation portals. So it's even higher energy today than usual. And you may be revealed things that are galactic in nature. So may the energy of today empower us through a profound process of transformation. And we're guided by healing today. So make sure to nurture yourself, take care of yourself as we work with this transformative energy of the storm. So ask some questions we can ask ourselves. What is our core purpose? Okay, let me make sure this is. What is my core purpose? And in what ways have the storms in our lives help us to change and help us empower ourselves? These are some questions you can reflect on today. And the theme today is, Regenera's theme is resilience and coming together. And so maybe these will connect with the storm energy. Thank you, everyone, for listening with this catalyzing experience of this time reportal. And I'll beam it back to Mark.
Thank you, Shant, for today's Beamcast. Shant's with us every day with the daily cast. And on Sunday, we'll be having a special forecast as we venture out of the Design Science Studio. Forrest, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Mark. And thank you, Shant. What an amazing beam from your vortex to mine. So here we are. Thank you for the news. It is my absolute pleasure to bring us from an amazing newscast into getting to introduce our friend Alicia Sacred Heart. And I'm really excited to introduce her because I didn't even know this, but serendipitously, I have loved figure drawing and studying the human figure for my whole entire artistic career. So I'm absolutely excited to introduce you and your work. And so I'm going to read a little bit about you. Alicia's Sacred Heart. Her soul came blazing into the body with the desire to be joyful, share love, and to be creative. Once a professional singer, now she dedicates her life to visionary art. As the project director of the Visionary Train, which is so amazingly awesome, and founder of the Vitra Academy with her collaborator, Amanda Sage. So I'd like to introduce you and say thank you for celebrating and meditating on the human figure constantly. Have a wonderful
Thank you. Thank you so much, Forrest. I'm super jazzed by your introduction, and I'm also thrilled to be here. We have this same session every Wednesday here on the Vision Train. But before we jump into that, I'm getting some messages that we're actually going to invite Elise to come up and share about her breakout room. That way, anybody that's here that might want to go with Elise can do that now. Hi, Elise.
Hi, thank you so much, Alicia. So bummed to be happening at the same time, but I'm going to look forward to checking back and see your presentation. So hello, everyone. I am Elise, and I invite you to join our discussion about a technology that'll shift your perspective and excite you about renewable electricity and the elimination of methane flares. Happening at 1:18 in the Have Virtual room, Zoom call.
Awesome. I'm also likewise jealous because I don't want to miss yours.
Thank you.
Well, luckily you'll get to overlap for like a little bit of time. So Elise can stick around for half an hour before we end up going over to host your space. So yay.
Cool, thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, yes, and thank you so much, Forrest. I look forward to connecting more with you. And today, we also have my friend Stroopy, who is going to be providing some live music while we have our figure study session. We're probably going to get I'm going to share a little bit with you guys before we jump into the study. And then once we do, then we'll have maybe about 10 one-minute gestures. And then we'll do maybe a couple of 5s and then finish her off with maybe like 1 10-minute pose at the end. And we're going to be using a site called Line of Action, but I'll get to that. So yes, thank you so much, Stroopy, for joining us and providing us with beautiful music. I've always just played sets during this time, so this is the first time to have a live musician. And we're also interested in this session every Wednesday here on the Vision Train at 2 p.m. Eastern in exploring finding live models to come in as well. Right now, we always use photographed poses.
So yeah, looking forward to evolving the space. We've been doing this every Wednesday for about a year on the Vision Train. So anybody else that is interested in joining us in the future, I hope you'll come back. It's the same Zoom link that you're on right now. Roxy, are you wanting to reshare or to stop the stream and restart it right now?
I don't know if we need to stream the figure studies. We can.
Sure. Okay, great. Well, then, yes. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify because it's hard to speak and read your messages at the same time. So thank you everybody for joining us for our morning session here with Regenera Rising. Today's theme being resilience and coming together. We're going to be coming back together here very shortly. So whatever stream it is that you're watching, I hope you'll tune back in very soon because we have some juicy, juicy offerings, as Roxy just shared, in store for you. So we'll see you soon. My name is Alicia Sacred Heart here at the Vision Train. Till next time. Choo choo!
Choo choo! Yeah, 8 more hours and 4 more days. Come on in. Water's warm.